Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're new around these parts, hi, my name is Missa, that's my Instagram, that is my Twitter. Welcome. This is a really random video. Someone in my makeup collection video, I don't know if I can find the comment or not, I'll put it up on the screen if I can. Someone wrote something like you should just swatch your favourite blues and do a whole video on that. And then I asked my patrons in the WhatsApp group, I was like, could I get away with just swatching my favourite blues in my collection? And they were like, yeah, just do it. So it's a little bit of a funny video just because it's so random, but at the same time, I have a deep passion for all things blue in terms of like eye makeup, and I thought I could just go through some of my favourites and show you them and swatch them and show you how beautiful they are. And if you like blue, then this could be the video for you. And I know it's random that I'm wearing a green on my face today. I just filmed this video, so yeah, I don't know what will be up first, this one or the blue one, but probably should have done a blue look today. Anyway, let's jump into it. So I don't know if I could take myself seriously, I just love blue. This is in no particular order, by the way, I'm just doing it in the order that I've like swatched things and put the palettes down. So the first one is the blue shade from the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. The shade is called Mercury. It is absolutely stunning. It's this one here. I just think that this is probably one of the most interesting colours that Huda has ever actually released. This is probably my favourite palette from her as well, just in general. I love the formula of this blue, and I do feel like it applies really well on the eye. Wet or dry, all of these go on better wet, apart from like the liquids that I'm going to show you. I'm not suggesting, by the way, buy an entire palette just for the blue, but it's just if you like the look of the palette and you like blue, then this could be good for you. But anyway, this blue is stunning, and yeah, it's just one of Huda's like best palettes in my opinion. I also love the packaging. The second one I want to talk about is this BH Cosmetics Eye Lights. This is a liquid glitter. This was, I think, I'll put the like prices up of the products on screens, I can't remember, I think this was like £7. This is obviously a liquid product. I get mine on Beauty Bay. I've got a couple of these now. This is like Stila, what's it called, Shimmer and Glow. It's not like a glitter and glow, it's more of a shimmery formula, and I would say it kind of leans a bit turquoise because it is a little bit of a duochrome. It's kind of blue to lime greenish. It's a little bit more turquoise maybe, but it is such a beautiful one, and it looks so smooth on the eye. I don't have any issues with it cracking. It's just a really beautiful tone, and I think all of you would really love it. The next one is a pricey one considering what it is. It's my Dose of Colours single eyeshadow. This is the Block Party eyeshadows. This one is in Teal Me More. I got this really soon after it released because the shade just spoke to my soul, and it's definitely more of a duochrome. It's more like, I don't know if I can actually show it on camera, it's more like purple to blue. This cost me like £16, and I remember thinking, gosh, I can't afford that, but I bought it anyway, and I'm really glad I did. I don't use it a whole heap just because it is so expensive, but it is one of the most beautiful blue eyeshadows I have in my collection. The only issue I have with this is that it has like a charcoal black base to it, so I do find it hard to blend out if I'm maybe using this with blues in my crease. I usually need to put like black down first, blend out black with blue, because it has such a dark base that it really does come through. But this is such a beautiful eyeshadow, and if you can get it in the sale or you want to spend £16 on like one stunning blue, then this is a really good one. Trust me, it's a really good formula as well. Let's go from that to a cheaper one. This is a palette. This is the Makeup Obsession Rady Daydream palette. This has one of the most gorgeous sparkly blues in it. This is probably the lightest blue I'm going to talk about today, and it is more of, I would say, maybe slightly more of a topper. I've done a whole video on this palette where I used this blue predominantly on my cut crease, and it came out so beautifully. Like the blue tone in it, it's, oh my goodness, it is absolutely stunning. But when you like just swirl your finger in it, it's not like the most pigmented. That's why I say it's more of a topper. You can build it up and it does get very pigmented, as you'll see if you've seen that video or you want to go and see it, especially if you use it over like a really pale concealer base or a pale primer. It's a little bit like sparkly as well, so when you put it on you just really see all the shimmer and shine in it. And actually this is a very good palette, so if you do want a kind of more affordable way, this is actually a really pretty palette. I did really enjoy playing with it. But that blue is probably the nicest blue that I've got from the drugstore in a palette or in a shadow, because I've got a couple of liquid ones I'll show you as well. Talking of liquid ones, this is a glitter, and I think you could maybe say it is turquoise, you could maybe say it's slightly green, but when I like hold it up against my eye makeup today, I think it looks very blue. This is the collection Glam Crystals. I always talk about these. This one is in the shade 5 Le Freak. These are $2.99 each. They're incredibly cheap. Just so you know, I've taken the stopper out of the bottle when I'm swatching it. That's how it's going on quite opaquely. It is a very opaque formula, but I do find that you get very little product out when you dip it in, so I prefer taking the stopper out of the bottle. This is like Stila Glitter and Glows or like Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liners in terms of it's just very, very, very sparkly. Collection have such stunning shades in these Glam Crystals. I've got all of them in my case back there and I think they're incredible. And I think if you love this kind of colour, this is a really good way to play with it because it's only £2.99, and for that price, I mean, I would pay £5 easily for these. I'd probably pay like £7 for these Glam Crystals. That's how good they are, but I don't want collection to put the price up. This next one's a little hard to show, and when I swatch it, I think it like shows up how hard it is to show. It's my Urban Decay Moondust palette. I say hard to show because I've hit such drastic pan on it, it's so hard to swatch. I had to like dig my nail in to try and get enough on my finger to swatch it. The shade is Vega and it is so gorgeous. I don't know, maybe you can get it as a single, I'm not actually sure. I love my Moondust palette. These are definitely more toppers. So say you do like a blue look or any look and you just want to add a sparkly blue top coat on it, that's what I would do with this palette for all of the colours really. In fact, the shade Galaxy in here is a blue as well and it is very stunning, more of my kind of like petrol blue, but Vega kind of stands out to me way more. Very, very glittery, very, very fine glitters. It's just very complimentary. Like if you do like a navy blue eye and then you just pat this over the top, I don't find you need a glitter glue with it. I just pat it on over the top and it's just such a stunning blue because it's very like royal blue. A lot of you know my Moondust is like one of my favourite palettes. So talking of favourite palettes, my Dose of Colours Friendcation. This is the Desi and Katie collaboration, round 2, and the shade is A Moment, which is this one up here. This one actually down here is kind of a blue, like black blue as well, but this is the one we're going to talk about. This is definitely still my top like 3 favourite palettes of all time. I would recommend this palette even if you wouldn't use that blue because the rest of the shades are stunning. Some of the best quality mattes I've ever played with in my life. But anyway, talking about this blue, beautiful formula. It's glittery, it's sparkly, but it's very fine, so it doesn't like look glittery on the eye. It's just incredibly like reflective of the light. It's a lovely formula. It goes on very smooth, it goes on very pigmented, and I have used this so much. I love it to death. It's probably one of the most complementary blues that I have that I'm showing you on my eyes. I think it looks really stunning with my blue eyes, and I've seen it on a lot of people with brown and green eyes and it looks great as well. It's a gorgeous palette. It's probably one of the most expensive ones I'm showing you. We'll jump over to a bit more drugstore now. This is my Barry M holographic eyeshadow topper. You know I've banged on about these a lot in the past, like all of the shades. I love them all to death. This one is in number 2 Asteroid. This is kind of like a duochrome as well, a little bit like purpley blue, definitely purple blue I'd say, but it's more blue when you apply it to the eye. I've used these a million times. I love them so much. They're very inexpensive, but what I will say is that they do dry up quite quickly. It's a little wand, kind of like the Stila ones, and it goes on a little bit more sheer, I would say, and it just gives you that reflective blue that is absolutely stunning with almost any kind of eye look. I prefer applying it with a brush onto my eye rather than straight from the wand, just because I get a lot more precision then. These don't crack on me either, which is great because a lot of like liquid eyeshadows do crack on my eyes because I've got hooded creasy eyes. These don't crack. It's absolutely stunning. I think you should all nip out and buy a Barry M holographic eyeshadow topper. It's the best product that Barry M do by far. And then the last one I want to talk about is from my Jeffree Star Blue Blood palette. I swatched this colour in my makeup collection and it is the shade Ocean Ice, this blue one. Oh, I've just like put blue eyeshadow all over my face. It's this deep blue one down here. This is a kind of weird formula from Jeffree Star. I think it's the first time he did a formula like this. It's very chunky, and what I would say is it's a little bit more difficult to work with. It's the only blue in here that I'm swatching and showing you that I feel you need a glitter glue with, because it is such a like chunky glittery formula. For me, it just stays on and looks way better when you apply it with a glitter glue. It is a super expensive palette just for this blue, but if you love blues, then this is a great palette. I talked about it in my favourite bright palette video as well. It's quite a special formula. It can look very textured, which I actually quite like. It looks really gorgeous as well along the lower lash line if that's just what you want to do. But yeah, again, I would definitely recommend using a glitter glue with that blue in particular. And the last one I'll talk about is the Beauty Bay Me, Myself and Mitchell palette. There's a lovely, lovely blue in here. It's called Mega. Oh, it's kind of like a purpley blue, but to me it's definitely more blue than purple. The metallics in this palette are stunning. They're a very wet formula, so you can kind of like squish it around. It feels kind of like putty. You'll notice with a lot of the swatches I maybe swatch them once and then go over them just to make them stand out the most. I'm just trying to make the swatches look good basically. But all of these products I've used on my eyes and talked about in videos, so I'm not just trying to make them look good for this video, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it's a really lovely formula. This whole palette's lovely. You know how much I bang on about it and how much I think everyone should have it. And what I really like is that there's a lot of really lovely blending out shades for this blue. I don't need to use like black because it does come out just very blue purple, and so I don't need to put black in my crease with it. I just love how it's like a wet formula, but again, it doesn't like crack or crease or break apart on my eyes, which a lot of like wet formulas do, like Colourpop, Super Shock shadows for example. They like break up on my eyes and look terrible after a few hours. This one doesn't. And that's my blues. That is all I came here to tell you today. Emptied out my soul. You've heard it all before. Honest, but I know. Left these years ago. I was young and almost still could fill the void. But yeah, I just wanted this video to be like short, fun, all about blue. I'm probably missing some out. Like I'm looking around like, oh no, I probably missed it, like one of the most beautiful ones. But in terms of like shadows and liquid glitters and things like that, they are my favourite blues in my collection. Like I said, I've used them all a heap of times, and you need to tell me if I'm missing any like liquid or shadows, because I've not talked about like eyeliners or anything, but things like that that I may be missing in my collection that I need to check out now that you know that these are like my favourite blues. I hope you enjoyed this random video during our isolation. Let me know if you want me to do it with any other colours. I've definitely got a few favourite greens and pinks and purples as well, so I could do it for all of them if you wanted. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment down below and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll piss off now, and yeah, I hope I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!